So I'm going to quickly run through a little video showing you the way I would set up my Desmos template to work through 13C. So first thing I do is I slide the entryway up a little more because we don't really need a graph for this thing. And then remember, we're going to start by taking a value for speed in miles per hour, converting it to feet per second. Sorry, converting it to feet per second, and then plugging it into our simplified braking distance formula. So we said that we were going to call that original speed S. So on my keyboard, I have to find S there. And when I hit equals and type in my first value, what it's going to give me is the opportunity to make a slider for this variable. And I do want to make a slider. So our lowest value in our table is 5, and our highest value is 80, excuse me. And we're going to count by 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, all the way to 80. So if you stick a 5 there and then tap in the cell below it, it makes a slider. So notice now my S variable takes on every value between 5 and 80, counting by 5s, which is what we need for our table. I'm going to leave it at 5 right now, but I'll show you later how when we slide it, it'll do all the calculations for us. What we need to do is convert that value to our velocity for the car in feet per second. So we're just going to do a little dimensional analysis, which we've done before. We're going to name that lowercase v, and this will be the value that we'll be plugging into our function. To convert this, we need to take our speed in miles per hour, which we called S, and I'll put that over 1. That's S miles in 1 hour. And then converting that from miles to feet, we need to multiply by the conversion factor, 5,280 feet over 1 mile. So that's the fraction that we use there. And then we're going to convert hours into seconds. So there's 1 hour and 3,600 seconds. We know those conversions. And so in terms of our feet per second, 5 miles per hour is the same as 7.3 repeating feet per second. Once we have that established, we do need to define our formula for finding the distance. And we called that lowercase d. This is a function of our initial velocity. So that is v sub 0. You could just type a v and a 0 and it'll make it a subscript for you. Close off those parentheses, and that's the name of our function, and it's receiving a speed. Then the actual formula was a fraction. On top, it's that v0 squared, so capital V sub 0. Move over and then hit your a squared key. Oops, that did not work. Let me go back up here. Let's see if I can do it this way. Yep, right there. I want to hit a squared. There we go. And then on the bottom, it was 54.91 when we simplified it, right? So we already did that calculation to make our simplified formula. So there's our function. And then what we want to do for our table is we want to know the distance rounded to the nearest whole number. So if you go to functions and you look up the function round, which I think is toward the bottom here, yep, it's under number theory, you hit round, then you can just put in your function d, pass the lowercase v to your function. So we're doing d parentheses lowercase v. And if you close the round parentheses, it tells us that we were going to go 1 foot rounded off if we're traveling 5 miles an hour. Now our table also wants that distance rounded to the nearest hundredth of a foot. So I'm going to go to round, and this time I'll put d of v in, so d parentheses lowercase v. But I'm going to put comma 2, and that tells Desmos to round it off to 2 decimal places. And you'll notice there it is. So this template then is set up for us to fill in our spots, and then all we have to do to find the other values is to slide it over. So for 10, my speed in feet per second is 14.6 repeating. If you want, you can actually insert another line there to just display it what it is rounded off. If you want to just have it rounded off, you can do that. I didn't do this when I did the problem because I just wanted to round it in my head. But if you wanted, you could have it display the rounded feet per second. Let's say you wanted to go to one decimal place for that. So rounded off, that would be 14.7, right? So if you wanted to do that, you could. And so here is our template. And then now it's just a matter of writing these values down in your table and then scooting over to the next speed. You just slide it over with your finger on that slider there. So this is just another demonstration of what I wrote about in the reading. But hopefully this helps make doing those calculations faster. You'll have to set up a different version of this when you do 13D, but you can use the same technique to speed up the calculations. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. Take care.